Listen, this is a catastrophe down here. And what the White House is proposing is more money to process and allow more illegals into the country. We need to do the opposite of that. And this is, you don't need to take my word for it. Listen to the Deputy Chief of the U.S. Border Patrol. He told us in his own words, he said, it's as if I'm at an open fire hydrant. I don't need more buckets to dump the water. He said, I need to turn the flow off. Every state in America is a border state right now. This catastrophe can come to an end if the Biden administration will do its job, and they've refused to do it. They're doing the opposite.
Mr. Edlow, can you provide specific examples of Biden administration policies that have contributed to the historically high level of illegal immigration we're currently witnessing?
Certainly. Let me start by saying, Mr. Chairman, I actually agree with the previous point that we want to have policies that encourage legal immigration and disincentivize and deter illegal immigration. The problem that we're seeing right now are that the policies that have been put in place by this administration, specifically the regulatory actions aimed at credible fear determinations and at how the immigration courts are supposed to function, do exactly the opposite. The circumventing lawful pathways regulation, which creates a presumption that someone is or is not eligible for asylum if they've come over unlawfully. There are so many loopholes in that one that if you bring a child, you're going to be able to go claim asylum, whereas you wouldn't if you didn't have a child. So it's going to encourage more illegal immigration, more families coming across. Certainly the memorandum from Secretary Mayorkas that limits the amount of, or that limits the categories rather, of people who can be removed. Again, those are so narrowly defined that it's going to create an incentive, not a disincentive for people to come over.
7 million people have come into the country since Biden walked into the Oval Office, and that's a low estimate. Most people believe it may be twice that high. We have nearly 2 million gotaways that we know about, not to mention those who evaded capture. Over 300 known terrorists apprehended at the border trying to come in. We don't know how many evaded capture and detection. They're in the country, potentially setting up terrorist cells everywhere.
American families are at greater risk of mass murder terrorist attacks than ever before due to the failing border policies of Biden. Intentionally opening the southern border with nearly 3 million illegal aliens from over 160 countries have intruded since Biden took office. American jobs are destroyed. Deadly drugs are smuggled by cartels, leading to over 100,000 deaths last year, devastating American families. Most gruesome is the imminent danger of known terrorists from the terrorist screening database crossing into America. Now we see the threat is real, with 50 terrorists just this year. These terrorists are skilled, well-financed, fully equipped, maniacally motivated mass murderers. Open borders for terrorists must be addressed. Biden should now take every action to protect American families.
Fentanyl is the #1 cause of death for Americans aged 18 to 49, flowing over the border like an open sewer. Human trafficking is the #1 business of the cartels here. Cartels are making $32 million a week on trafficking human beings into the U.S. That's over $1.5 billion a year. Transnational criminal organizations, and the Biden administration seems to care nothing about it. Remember, they could issue executive orders and fix this overnight. You could reinstate the Remain in Mexico policy. You could do some very important things, but they refuse to do it.
Given the unprecedented millions of Biden illegal aliens who are invading our country, it is only common sense that when I'm reelected, we will begin the largest deportation operation in American history. On my first day back in the White House, I will terminate every open borders policy of the Biden administration, and I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act to remove all known or suspected gang members, drug dealers, or cartel members from the United States, ending the scourge of illegal alien gang violence once and for all.
The United States is currently experiencing a surge in migration with a significant increase in the number of people undertaking challenging journeys to reach the southern border. However, this surge extends beyond being a mere localized challenge. It has evolved into a complex regional issue with profound implications. To comprehend the intricacies of this surge, it is essential to explore the multifaceted push and pull factors propelling individuals and families towards the United States. Recent developments, such as President Joe Biden's decision to allow Texas to construct a 20-mile stretch of border wall in Rio Grande Valley, underscore the evolving nature of the situation.
Well, I was told that I had no choice. You can't say I don't like it, I'm not going to do it. Border wall, the money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to reappropriate, to redirect that money. They did it. They wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what was appropriated. I can't stop.
This unexpected shift in policy, reminiscent of a screeching handbrake turn, raises questions about the underlying dynamics. influencing government decisions. The wall,
We're going to build the wall. We have no choice.
initially conceived by former President Donald Trump, faced strong opposition from Biden's Democratic Party, which criticized it as racist and divisive. The apparent reversal in Biden's stance prompts an exploration into the factors contributing to this decision and its implications. Furthermore, the surge in migration poses significant challenges to U.S. border security and immigration systems. The strain on processing centers, asylum courts, and detention facilities is palpable, resulting in delays and backlogs.
If you knowingly file a frivolous application for asylum, you will be barred forever from receiving any benefit under the Immigration and Nationality Act. A frivolous application for asylum is one which contains statements or responses to questions that are deliberately fabricated.
The humanitarian concerns associated with the surge, especially for vulnerable populations like children and families, highlight the urgent need for comprehensive and thoughtful solutions. As we delve into the complexities of the migration crisis, it becomes evident that understanding the root causes is paramount. A confluence of economic instability, fleeing violence, political upheaval, climate-induced displacement, and perceived shifts in immigration policies acts as a collective force, propelling the current surge in migration. However, while acknowledging the challenges faced by migrants, it is crucial to emphasize that becoming economic migrants might not be the ultimate solution. Encouraging unity and advocating for a better future in their home countries can be more impactful than becoming a burden to another nation. Amid this surge, the U.S. government finds itself at a crossroads, navigating the delicate balance between border security and humanitarian considerations. Policymakers must balance immediate crisis response with addressing the root causes of migration to formulate effective immigration policies. In this exploration, we aim to dissect the ongoing migration crisis, analyzing its diverse facets and shedding light on the pressing need for comprehensive and collaborative solutions. By understanding the intricacies of the situation, we can contribute to the discourse surrounding this complex regional challenge.
Listen to the gentleman from New York who doesn't know a darn thing about the border crisis and gets to stand up and say, oh, by golly, all the fentanyl, 90% of that fentanyl, boy, howdy, they're catching that right there in the port of entry. Well, you know why they catch it at the port of entry? Because that's where you have x-rays for the vehicles coming in. You have dogs that sniff. Most of the vehicles are getting picked up and looked at. Same with the pedestrians coming across. But you know why you don't find it between the ports of entry where 1.9 million people have come into the Biden administration, Mr. Speaker? You know why they don't find it? Because right now, you can literally drive. Let's say if you're on the Tohono O'odham Reservation, you can drive. They have 62 miles right there along the border. You can drive that, and you're going to see maybe one or two agents in that entire area. You know why? Because the rest of them are processing all of the people that the agents have had to encounter. So they're out at these facilities. So when I was down in Lukeville right before Christmas, I'm standing there going, I go talk and I say, hey, where are you from? Guinea? How about you? Burkina Faso? How about you? Senegal? How about you? India? How about you? Pakistan? They're coming from all over the world.
The surge in migration to the United States is intricately woven with a myriad of factors, and at the forefront lies the compelling force of economic precarity. This phenomenon is particularly evident among individuals from Central American nations, where poverty and limited employment opportunities propel them towards the United States. For many, the quest for economic opportunities is not merely a desire for upward mobility. It is a lifeline, a pursuit of a better life for themselves and their families. In Central America, where socioeconomic challenges are deeply entrenched, individuals grapple with the daily struggle for survival. The promise of economic prosperity in the United States becomes a beacon of hope, driving them to embark on arduous journeys, often fraught with peril. In countries where poverty is widespread, the prospect of obtaining a stable job, higher wages, and a better standard of living can be a powerful motivator, driving people to overcome significant obstacles in pursuit of a better future. The economic struggles that fuel this surge in migration are not unique to any one place, but rather a shared experience among many who view the United States as a land of opportunity that can transform their lives. As we navigate the intricate web of motivations fueling this migration surge, it becomes clear that economic precarity is not a singular factor, but a complex interplay of circumstances that intertwines with other compelling forces. To comprehend the full scope of this surge, we must unravel the layers of these drivers and acknowledge the intertwined nature of socioeconomic factors, pushing individuals to make the arduous journey towards the United States. While economic hardships drive many migrants from Central American nations towards the United States, it's essential to highlight that migration isn't a comprehensive individual solution. It is imperative to understand that migration cannot be the only solution to problems faced by communities. Migrants must work together with their communities to identify and address the root causes of migration. It is equally important to acknowledge the potential negative impact of migration on host countries, as it may not provide sustainable solutions. Therefore, empowering communities to bring about change within their nations is crucial to creating long-lasting positive transformations. Citizens of countries such as El Salvador, Honduras, and Guatemala are forced to seek refuge beyond their borders due to the rampant violence and gang activities in their regions. Political instability, notably in Venezuela, has led to an exodus of migrants escaping the consequences of economic collapse and political unrest. The search for stability and a brighter future propels them northward.
The United States announced its agreement with the country of Venezuela to repatriate Venezuelan nationals who do not take advantage of the lawful pathways and instead arrive irregularly at our southern border and do not qualify for relief.
Environmental factors exacerbated by climate change contribute significantly to the surge. Droughts, hurricanes, and other climate-related events create conditions of food insecurity and economic instability, driving people to migrate in search of more sustainable livelihoods. Changing perceptions of the United States immigration policies play a role in the surge.
Again, the judge says that essentially these policies have said, come in, we're open, come.
The belief that policies have become more accommodating may contribute to an increased willingness to undertake the perilous journey. However, migrants should critically assess the situation, understanding that policies can be dynamic and that relying solely on perceived changes might lead to unforeseen challenges. The sudden influx of migrants poses a formidable challenge to the United States immigration system. Processing centers, asylum courts, and detention facilities grapple with the overwhelming volume, leading to delays and backlogs. This strain emphasizes the urgent need for reforms in the immigration process to ensure efficiency and fairness. The surge raises significant humanitarian concerns as migrants, including vulnerable populations like children and families, face difficult conditions during their journey. Providing adequate shelter and services upon arrival becomes a pressing issue. Balancing border security with the humane treatment of migrants is essential to uphold the country's values and international obligations. Policymakers are faced with the intricate task of balancing border security measures with humane and efficient immigration policies. The surge amplifies the need for comprehensive immigration reform and thoughtful policy adjustments. Striking the right balance is crucial for addressing the immediate challenges and implementing sustainable long-term solutions. Border communities, particularly smaller towns, find themselves grappling with the sudden increase in population. This strain impacts local resources, healthcare facilities, and educational institutions. The surge becomes a focal point in political discussions, sparking debates on immigration policies, border security, and the necessity for systemic reform. Calls for executive action and legislative solutions echo across the political spectrum.
We're going the absolute wrong direction. This is America. People need to get their cases heard in days, not years. And if they do not qualify for asylum, they need to be deported.
Finding common ground becomes imperative for addressing the crisis effectively and implementing policies that benefit both the nation and those seeking refuge. The surge underscores the importance of international collaboration. Addressing the root causes of migration requires working closely with countries in Central America, tackling issues ranging from economic development to security and governance. In conclusion, the surge in United States migration is a complex challenge requiring nuanced solutions. From economic precarity to escape from violence, climate-induced displacement, and policy perceptions, the multifaceted drivers demand comprehensive attention. Recent policy shifts, like the approval of a border wall by President Biden, highlight the dynamic nature of this crisis and the complexities faced by policymakers.
Joe Biden has launched an illegal foreign invasion of our country, allowing a record number of illegal aliens to storm across our borders. From all over the world they came. Under Biden's current policies, even though these millions of illegal border crossers have entered the country unlawfully, all of their future children will become automatic U.S. citizens. Can you imagine? They'll be eligible for welfare, taxpayer-funded health care, the right to vote, chain migration, and countless other government benefits, many of which will also profit the illegal alien parents. This policy is a reward for breaking the laws of the United States and is obviously a magnet helping draw the flood of illegals across our borders. They come by the millions and millions and millions. They come from mental institutions. They come from jails, prisoners, some of the toughest, meanest people you'll ever see.
Strains on the immigration system, humanitarian issues, policy dilemmas, and the impact on local communities highlight the gravity of the situation.
For years, we have sounded the alarm about the crisis at our southern border, yet this can no longer be called a crisis. What we face is an existential threat to our nation, and it is a threat enabled by the Biden administration. Since taking office, the Biden administration has flouted and defied countless laws of the United States in order to prop up their blatantly illegal open border policies. Countless officials, including Biden, Vice President Harris, and Secretary of Homeland Security Mayorkas, have violated their oath of office by failing to faithfully discharge the duties of their offices and protect our nation. Under President Biden, 8 million illegal aliens have been stopped at our borders, and over 1.7 million known gotaways have entered the nation, with an untold number of illegal aliens crossing undetected. In total, Biden's border failures have resulted in illegal immigrants totals that are well over 14 times the entire population of the state of Wyoming. The 94 executive actions taken in President Biden's first 100 days alone have decimated all progress made by the Trump administration to secure our nation, ending the Remain in Mexico program, halting construction on the border wall, and handicapping the ability for federal law enforcement to actually enforce the law. These actions and dozens like them by the Biden administration have deliberately created an environment where the rule of law no longer exists, where fentanyl kills our children and friends, and where no community in America can be considered safe.
To remain well-informed and involved in this vital matter, kindly consider liking and subscribing. Your active involvement plays a pivotal role in influencing discussions and supporting well-considered policies. Remember, stay informed, stay engaged in shaping the discourse around this critical issue.